Hello, everyone, and welcome to, what is this, the 4th episode of
Yes.
Queens of the Ring.
Queens of the Ring.
Woo! So, myself and the lovely Denise and the lovely Sarah welcome you to this special day before Valentine's Day episode. And I say we've got so many people in the chat already. Hello, guys. So this is an episode that we have all three been really looking forward to. Hi, Sean. How are you? Hi, everyone. We have been looking forward to this because we have a very special guest tonight. He makes us laugh on a regular basis in the comments of our Monday Night Raw watch along with Earl Cole, and I cannot wait to see what he has in store for us right now. So I'm going to introduce him now. He is the one, the only, His Royal Naughtiness, Blaze Radio.
Yes. Oh,
I love it.
I love it, girl. That's awesome.
Yeah. I never got to do it with three ladies before.
There's the first one.
Oh, well, I want to thank everyone. I want to thank you guys for inviting me. And no offense. Let me start out. If you want naughty Blaze, and I'm sure you guys do.
You do.
I think we should have a warning first. Mitch.
Uh-oh.
The following is rated TV MALSV. It contains strong language, violence, and nudity. It is intended only for mature audiences. Viewer discretion advised.
You guys remember the TV show Nip Tuck?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
That's
I
what
love
that's
that
from.
show.
I was going to say it.
Show.
Hold on a second.
Oh my goodness.
If we're really going to get naughty, I'm taking my clothes off. Screw it.
Oh Lord.
There it is. Woo!
I got more
Michael,
surprises.
you're here to party. Woohoo!
This is for you, Cherry. I got Cherry 7-Up.
Oh.
And since you guys are my Valentines this year, and no offense to any of your significant others, but I got a candle for each one of you.
Oh my
Here's
goodness.
My
one.
significant other is my hamster.
Mine's my right hand, so
I literally have. I don't know where he's at.
we got. Oh, that looks cool on the green
He's not
screen.
doing
Candle number
parkour
2.
somewhere, Denise?
What?
Is he not doing parkour somewhere?
No, I have his cage right here on my coffee table, but he's in his
Hardcore.
wall somewhere. I shit you not, he literally does he'll scale the fucking cage at the top, like parkour. And then I'm dead serious.
I got my tissues here in case I start crying.
Oh.
I got a
I'm
candle for
sure the tissues are just for that, right?
the lotions down here. I got my laugh track too, so
Well, since this is your first time with 3 ladies, we'll try to be gentle with you.
and I have 2 more surprises. This one is nothing, but the next one I probably will cry a little bit because I'm an emotional guy. You guys know it, Drum Monkey. And there's Dirt Sheet Earl. I got something for you, bro.
Oh my
Dirt
goodness.
sheet Earl.
Oh, look. Oh my goodness. And this is
So-
Earl.
The second surprise I'm going to do involves Earl, but I do have some candy for you ladies too.
Aw.
Chocolates.
yummy, yummy.
That was gross. You never know what's inside of those things. So
It's a crap
I-
sheet.
It can be gross
I-
sometimes.
I wrote a little poem for you ladies.
Oh my goodness. Here we go.
Aw.
Roses are red. Earl says, beat the stew. I found you on the telecast from the mothership, and I'm glad to meet you.
Oh,
Okay.
that was so beautiful.
So
Thank
cute.
you.
Before my next surprise, I feel like a magician or some shit. We got to shout out to our buddy.
Oh Lord. Orange Cassidy is awesome.
Orange Cassidy is awesome.
Orange Cassidy is awesome. We know you love him.
Oh, of course he does.
So, big shout out to Andy Price. Some of my guys from my community here. I've been talking about you ladies on my streams for like a week and a half because I couldn't wait for this
so
either. Triple
awesome.
Beats, my friend Andy Price is down in Australia. He's on the other side of the world.
Oh
Monstar's
wow.
up in Canada. I got a lot of different, and I got another surprise for you that has to wait till the very end.
Oh.
But really want Naughty Blaze.
Mm-hmm.
Mitch, hit my music.
Oh no.
God.
Oh yeah, ladies and gentlemen, get ready to get naughty, get dirty, get naked, and get ready to have some fun. Stick your hand down your pants if you want to. Take off all your clothes and find another lady to get naked with and rub them bodies together because we're gonna have fun tonight, baby. Oh yeah, on the midnight hour with your boy Blaze McGowan. We're gonna get naughty all night long.
That is amazing.
Oh,
That is probably the most amazing thing I've ever
I
seen.
need to cleanse my palate already.
I
Oh
told
my
you you're
god.
gonna need extra panties for this one, ladies.
Oh my
Alright.
god. That's
love it.
amazing.
When I do my streams, I play that music and do that little sexy Blaze voice. And I was like, Mitch, I'm gonna do this. And I said, I want to get a naughty picture of me. And he goes, how about Borat? And I'm like, perfect.
Oh,
Oh my God.
oh.
Look, there's Earl laughing. He's got it. Oh, my friend. Monstar, this show is sponsored by Restraining Orders.
Might as well be.
Oh my gosh.
All right,
Oh,
all right.
Best.
That's some of the fun. I got one more surprise later on, but
Great.
now I'll turn it back over to you, Terry, and the first topic, Mitch.
Sure. Let's see what our fearless leader has for us. Mitch, what is the first topic? Oh boy, Rock, Cody, and Roman situation. So I guess we all saw, and I couldn't even take a vacation without seeing this happen. Of course, the press conference with Seth in the background going and all this, and I want to get your perspectives too, but there. I mean, I have a lot of feelings about this, but Blaze, since you are our esteemed guest, would you like to start off with your thoughts on that?
We'll touch base a little bit on what irks me when we get to the next topic, but this is something that I think a lot of people overreacted to at first, because when Rock and Roman faced off last Friday, they didn't make a match. They didn't make anything. And I jumped on to Earl's show, and it was me, Earl, Nick, and Mitch. Right at the end of the show, I was like, dude, we were so excited because we didn't know which way that was going to go. And for me, I'm old school. I'm wrestling from way back in Cherry. From things you've said before really hit base with me. And there's a lot of criticizing on how they're handling this. Yes, they had to do a pivot because of, Punk getting hurt, Brock not being there, and the Vince stuff, which I really don't want to talk about, but they pivoted. And, I made fun on my little video, which we'll talk about. But to me, back in the days, this is what I miss. We never, as wrestling fans in the 80s and early 90s, because we didn't have the internet and all these people criticizing and analyzing it, we didn't say, bad decision. Why did they book this, book that? It was just, oh, that happened. I like it or don't like it. Mm-hmm. But now, because there's so many people out there criticizing, which you're entitled to, and I'll get more in depth in that here, but I kind of like it. I mean, at first, me, Nick, and Mitch and Earl were talking. We were so excited. And then it seemed like the whole wrestling world just shit all over it. This is stupid for one or the other reason. And no matter what they do, one fan base is going to be upset. Mm-hmm. Whether it's the Rock fans or the Cody fans, someone's not going to be happy with the outcome. And I'm a wait and see kind of guy. I've always been that way. I found out, if you instantly react to things, you never know where it's going to go. And I kind of like that. I mean, they've kind of fixed it with the, like you said, with the, I called it the TED Talk. It really wasn't a press conference. It was more like a TED Talk, them walking around talking. But think of the buzz they have now, that Super Bowl commercial with all four of them facing off. And arguably four of the biggest names, not all my favorites at all, but they are arguably, objectively, the biggest names in wrestling. So I'm excited about what it could be. I have faith in Triple H to put on a huge WrestleMania, regardless of who's there. So I don't have a problem. I had problems with it. Like, I could sit here and criticize and nitpick, but as you've seen on my video and stuff, I'm very different than most wrestling people that are out there that want to criticize everything. I like to just react than be, sit there and try to predict what's going to happen and what should have happened and how it's going to happen. So I was sitting there going, I really want to see what they're going to do with this. So it's interesting to me. I mean, that's where I'm at. And I can't wait to see how it plays off, because arguably when I do my WrestleSense, I was big into AEW when it first came out, because back in the day, I was WCW when everybody else was WWE. I'm one of those wrestling fans that I don't need the everything spoon fed to me. Here's what happened earlier tonight. Here's what happened last week. And oh wait, here's what happened 2 minutes ago. But for, like my rant said, the casuals, the kids, they do that. So if you tune into WWE at any point in time, they're going to tell you what's going on. I like the in-ring stuff. I like suspension of disbelief as wrestling fan to an explanation, but I want it to be a fight. I want to believe it's competition. It's still real to me, damn it, that type of thing. But I know it's a TV show. And everything is planned. Sure, they have to change things sometimes and adjust to, but I like a little bit of reality mixed into my wrestling too. We know Punk and Seth hate each other in real life. And to have those guys want to work together, that's huge. Because look at the Punk and the Buck shit and all that stuff in AEW. None of them wanted to work together. If they would have put something together before Punk left, that would have been huge. That would have been something that everyone would have talked about AEW. Mm-hmm. AEW took a big dip. I'll be real. But I like that type of, like, a lot of my favorites are over there more than here. So, but I love both. I love all types of wrestling. I wish I had enough time to watch more NWA and TNA and CML and New Japan and stuff like that. But it's on every day.
Right.
So much to consume. You got to kind of like pick one and focus on that and enjoy whatever else. But interesting. Cody Roman, I can't wait to see where it's going to go.
Right.
But people get mad at me because I didn't watch the Attitude Era very much. I knew what was happening, but I was so into WCW, the Goldberg, the Sting, the NWO, Attitude Era, and that stuff I wasn't really into. But Ram, that's another one. New Zealand, other side of the country. My boy Ram.
Awesome. Welcome.
But that's where I'm at. I'm a wait and see where it goes, guy, and I hope it turns out good.
Right. And I'm very much with you on the WCW thing because, I mean, that was Jim Crockett Promotions. Mid-Atlantic Championship Wrestling was, born of that. So that was, I much prefer that to the WWE. But, of course, I would flip back and forth between the two because that's what you did every Monday night.
What I love when we were kids, it was always about, what are we going to talk about at the lunch table on Tuesday?
Right.
That type of shit, right?
Right.
So, like, I want those cliffhangers, and I want those things where we don't know where it's going to go. And we weren't getting that for the longest time in the past regime in WWE.
Agreed. Absolutely on that. Denise, what were your thoughts on Rock, Cody, and Roman?
I mean, I didn't watch the press conference, but what I did see on Twitter about it, I'm not really surprised. I did kind of find it entertaining, if I'm going to be honest with you. I mean, it does add fuel to the fire for this match coming at WrestleMania because, I mean, you don't know what's going to happen. I mean, is Rock just kind of how I'm trying to word it? Like, is he actually like on Bloodline's side? Like, is he have Roman's back or is he just like pretending that he does and then he's going to cost Roman the match? Kind of a thing, so he becomes head of the table. I don't know. I should watch it just so I can kind of see more in depth about it and everything and what like really kind of led to it. But I don't know. I like it because, like I said, it is definitely helping with the storyline and that and everything. And I did kind of like that little slap that Rock gave, although I'm still trying to figure out why Seth had to interfere in that. I know he did, but why?
He's kind of like a fart in church. It's like, why are you hanging around? What are you doing? Why are you here? But after last night with him, it's almost sounded like he's wanting to be in Cody's corner, but I think maybe the reverse might happen because this is Seth we're talking about. Maybe Seth is going to cost Cody the title. Maybe he's going to turn on Cody.
Let me piggyback off what Denise said. I think what they're doing now is they're trying to give reasoning behind a lot of this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
When Cody won the Rumble, everyone's like, predictable. He's going to finish his story, beat Roman. Why even watch Mania? But now all these twists and turns that whatever reason they happen, adding these reasoning behind it. Like a lot of people thought Cody should have won last year. I don't, because I want a long story I'm a Dusty fan. I want them hard times, and that's what he's getting. And now, like people were saying after the press conference, Cody looked like a bitch. Seth looked like a bitch. Why'd they do that to them? Now, Monday, we got some reasoning. It's going to make them look like the biggest baby faces. And now you got two bad guys. And I like the Rock coming and getting cheered. That would have been predictable. Him joining the Bloodline now just to eventually fight for the head of the table. Because right now he's a high chief. They're listing him as a high chief. And you don't hear Roman.
He's really a high chief.
Yeah, and you don't hear Roman talk about being head of the table and better than him right now. But eventually you got to think, just like Denise said, Rock's going to have a reason to be like, Roman, wait a minute. You're the young buck here. I'm the high chief. I'm higher than you. Well, I'm the head of the table. Then we got that match. And then there's reason behind the match. Instead of just going, hey, Rock's here. He's going to fight Roman. Now we're getting story behind it. Stories. That's all we hear anymore. But I like it.
Yeah, but All
I'm a
right.
talker, by the way, I don't shut up a lot, so fair warning.
Yeah. Well,
It's your show. I'm just
well,
sorry.
I don't think any of us have a problem with that either. So.
No.
Everybody, yeah, these are the ladies I've been talking about all for the past 2 weeks, hyping them up.
Yeah. Well, Sarah, what was your perspective on this whole thing?
So when all this started, even before the press conference, so like when all of this started coming about, I, like Blaze said, I was bitching about it because one, I'm like, Cody winning the Royal Rumble, now that doesn't make sense. So I'm like, what's happening with that? Two, it seemed like they just inserted The Rock in because he's magically available to do WrestleMania this year, which that's fine because he's really big, he's very popular, a legend, all of that. But the problem I had with it was, okay, so Cody isn't going to be going against Roman at WrestleMania. So that means Cody's going to have to go and have a match with Seth. Whose opportunity is he taking away? He's taking an opportunity away from somebody, whether it's Drew, Gunther, whoever. That's what I was mad about because I'm like, that's not right because
Yeah,
you've got
I wanted Gunther to win
so
the
many people. Yeah, I'm like, you've got so many people that have earned, the right to have, a WrestleMania match. They've busted their butts, and then The Rock, somebody who's hasn't been around in however many years, just waltzes in and they just lay everything at his feet, which like I said, rightfully so. He's a legend. I get it. But I just didn't like how it took something away from somebody else. That is what I had a big problem with that. Now it seems like with this press conference and The Rock turning heel, it feels disingenuous in a way. And I think we said this last night. It felt very disingenuous because now it's like, I told Earl this last week, CYA, cover your ass. They're covering their asses now. Now they're having to make up for their crappy decision. But I'm kind of intrigued to see where this is going, where we're heading with this. And everybody's talking about they're going to have a tag team match now. And I'm like, I don't know if that's exactly what's going to happen.
I think that match will happen, but I don't want it to happen night one and then the title match is night two because there's a lot of things that could happen to mess that up. Plus, like you just said, you're taking a main event match from someone on night one and giving it to the same people. And this Rock Roman thing has been teased for years, if not decades. It was on Rock's TV show.
It was.
They teased it. So but like you said, Rock just came back. He's a part-timer. He's not ready. That thing with Jinder, he was gassed after like a minute. So he's not ready for a one-on-one match. I didn't want to see them happen now. Rock needs to be conditioned. So if he's in just a tag match, maybe, I don't know when. I mean, maybe Chamber. I don't think they're going to do it there, though. But The Rock is arguably the biggest entertainment name in the world. You got people that aren't wrestling fans. They know who Dwayne Johnson is.
Oh, yeah, they do, for sure.
There's people that aren't wrestling fans that don't know who Cody Rhodes is, that don't know who Seth Rollins is. Sorry, Cherry. They don't know who Drew McIntyre is. These are non-wrestling fans they're going to bring in by using The Rock. But now that
I get it.
Old Hollywood Rock for a little while, I like that because people just didn't expect that.
Right.
But do you really want to see The Rock go a 25-minute match right now? I don't know if he can.
I don't think he can. If he could go 5 or 10, I would be shocked if I'm being honest.
But Earl, he is a draw.
He is, Earl. Why are you listening to DJ? God.
Not these smarks, not the wrestling fans like my little YouTube short I put out there. We are a group of fans that follow it all the time. From me knowing the guys on my podcast that are in the business in the indies for 20 years, for people outside, just seeing people go to indie shows. And Terry, you've been to indie shows. You know, a lot of those people, they don't follow every day like us. They want to see their favorite wrestlers. They go to the indie shows. So to people that follow all the time, you might not think Rock can be a draw because he hasn't been around. But think outside the box. He's more famous than anyone on the WWE roster.
Combined.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
doesn't mean he's a better fighter or wrestler right now. He's more famous. That's
Recognizable.
money. That's money. And the bottom line, this is a business. It's entertainment, but it's a business. It's about making money. So you're going to see The Rock for a while. He's training. He even said, I got three rings in Hawaii, one on the West Coast. I'm working out to try to get back. So I'm
Well-
glad they didn't just throw him in the ring.
Earl, honey, why doesn't The Rock's heel
Earl,
turn
that's
make
not Earl's
sense?
thoughts. Let's
Yeah.
move on.
That's not it does make perfect sense because I mean anyway, so my thought was, and I got criticized on Twitter for this.
I love your Twitter. By the way, if you're not following Cherry, she's a blast. She has no fear. She will tell you about yourself. She will challenge your opinion, which is fair. Everyone's allowed to have opinion. And I'll state that again. We talk about
And I don't mind anyone having a different opinion. It's when you come at me with disrespect. That's when you get when you get the
don't
beat.
fuck with Cherry, people.
So I don't even know what that noise was. But
That's Taylor Swift. She's in my
but
basement chained up.
I from the beginning I said this is nothing but their attempt to make Cody look like the ultimate baby face, greatest American Homelander hero. I
Hey,
mean,
Cherry, back in the day, what happened to the baby faces? They got beat down and embarrassed first before they build up.
exactly.
That's what
Exactly.
they're doing to Cody.
And I honestly think he helped plan this. I mean, my problem
Thank
wasn't I absolutely think because I do believe he has a certain amount of creative control in his contract, and I believe he helped plan all of this.
If you don't if you're out there thinking Rock, Roman, Triple H, Seth, all of them aren't sitting down and talk about this shit, you're fooling yourself. Because
You're absolutely fooling yourself.
They
Exactly.
are all now. I'm not saying that this was the whole plan the whole time, but they're sitting down talking about this every day. Plus, Triple H, and I'll throw Tony Khan in there too. These people that run these companies, they're aware of what the internet does with information now. So they're throwing false narratives and fake shit out there to fool us. I'm glad they are. I hate when Rumble happened, I didn't look at internet all day because I didn't want to know this fucking spoilers.
Right.
I want to be my wrestling content. I want to be entertained. I want to be amused, and I want to be surprised.
Right.
That's what I look for.
Well, I mean, I hate to break it to some people, but they lie to the dirt sheets.
Yeah.
I know. But my thought was this is nothing but they're trying to make it look like old poor Cody, and that's and kudos to them. That's what they did. But now you've got all this talk about this tag team match, and it's like it cannot happen first night. It cannot be main event first night because you cannot have two people that are going to be in the main event night 2 on main event in night 1.
Well, Friday, Rock and Roman are on, so hopefully, I wouldn't be mad if they make it at Chamber.
Well, the thing is, they had said that Roman wasn't going to be there, but then
I heard that too.
They've said that he wasn't going to be at certain shows, and they've changed their minds. So I mean, that absolutely could happen.
They've done that before with the Chamber.
Yeah.
Go ahead. I'm sorry, Sarah.
No, I was going to say, I said they've done that before with the Elimination Chamber. Like they said that last year. They said Roman's not going to be at Elimination Chamber. And what happened? He ended up having a match with Sami Zayn at Elimination Chamber. So
that tag match, that could very well set up and give more story behind Cody Roman.
Yeah.
There could show a little bit of dissension, if not all the dissension between Rock and Roman. And then Rock's not on Roman's side for Mania.
Mm-hmm.
Then you got Seth, who's like, Cody, I got your back. I'm your shield, he said the other night. His promo was fire on Monday.
Yeah,
and
I had to listen to his voice, so yeah.
I know you can't stand him, but that's okay.
I absolutely cannot stand.
That's what's so beautiful about wrestling, ladies, and I want everyone to see that. And our next topic should be coming up here.
Yeah.
And some of my takes that I had the other night is you're allowed to have a difference in opinion. Just don't not allow other people to have their other opinion because you're entitled to it. You may not agree with it, but if everyone's opinions were the same, how boring would wrestling be?
Right, exactly. And that's why I said you can come at me with a different opinion all you want. Just if you come at me with disrespect, you're gonna get it. I mean,
How,
that's-
how many times have I said this, Cherry and Denise? I've said this so many times. This is part of why I love talking with you guys is we all have different opinions, but we can agree to disagree and we don't sit there and get mean or dog each other or anything. And many
Right.
times, and I've said this to you, Blaze, too, you guys get me to think about things in a different way or see something that I wasn't seeing before because of the points you guys bring, you know, with your opinions and your thoughts. So, but you're
And I'm
right.
the same
people
way. I
need
don't want
not
to
be
seem like a
jerks.
know-it-all or my opinions are better or holier than now. I learn from people all the time. I've been a wrestling fan for 40 years. That doesn't make me better than someone who's only a wrestling
Yeah.
fan for 10 years.
right.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I learn from people all the time. I never, and I think are we ready for the next?
I was just going to say what really bugged me about that whole thing was that it was so painfully obvious what it was, that it was nothing but designed to make Cody, you know, believe it or not, I'm walking on air, the greatest American hero. But the overreaction where Rock Daughter's getting death threats, other wrestlers, fans were getting death threats over this
Yep.
shit.
Yeah, people are getting mad at,
Oh.
Did you see what Rock said to Triple H after the thing? Oh, shame on him. It's a show, people. And it's 9
Exactly.
o'clock, so I got to sing my song for Mitch. It's brownie time. It's brownie time.
Oh.
What Mitch and brownies? It's brownie
Right, Mitch,
time.
you get this
It's brownie time.
brownie on.
There it is. Get your brownies, Mitch.
But I mean, but it was just the fact that it was so painfully obvious what it was. But people, it's like their inherent nature now that they have to take things way too damn far with this stuff.
You gotta have an open mind a little bit. You're allowed, you're entitled to your opinion. Having a little open mind, because like Sarah said, you never know when someone throws a different thing. Like, yeah, I never thought of it that way. And that's the beauty of being a wrestling fan.
Yeah.
I say it all the time on the podcast. It's a great time to be a wrestling fan.
Oh, it absolutely is.
I've said that so many
There's
times.
wrestling every fucking day. There's so many, and for people who think, oh, WWE people hate AEW, they're all friends, people. Don't let it fool you. You seen the pictures of Britt and the ladies at the Super Bowl? They're all friends.
I
They're
saw that.
happy that their friends have a job at other companies.
Yep.
Because there's not enough. If it's just a monopoly of WWE, all these wrestlers don't have jobs.
They're friends with people in TNA. They're friends with people in New Japan. They're friends with people on the freaking indies.
And I don't
mean,
celebrate
oh, yeah.
people losing their job. I mean, I know when people get fired and stuff, you're like, good, they deserve it. No, they're losing
No,
their
they don't.
Nobody does
kids.
lose their
I
job.
do not
Nobody.
celebrate people losing their job. It might be a wrestler I don't like, which I don't mind not seeing anymore, but I'm not going to be like, yeah, fire, and they suck. These are
Yeah,
human
he can earn money. Yeah. Oh God, no, that's so
These are human
tacky.
beings, man. They're people that risk their body. I've talked to my man CJ Sensation from my podcast. He's wrestled for 25 years. He's fought AJ Styles. He's fought Dolph Ziggler. He's beaten CM Punk. He's
Oh,
wrestled
wow.
audio. I could go on and on and on. He always says they risk their bodies every time they step into the ring. For
Yes,
us,
they do.
fans.
Absolutely.
And a lot of fans take that shit for granted.
Mhm. Absolutely. So I guess we can go ahead and move on to the next topic. I've got to put the young one to bed here, but CJ is better than Orange Cassidy.
Lies, lies.
Mitch, you know that no one's better than Orange Cassidy to you. We know that.
We all know that Orange Cassidy's your bestie.
Bestie. All right. So
I
our
like
next
the
topic-
saying. You ever hear the saying, be better, not bitter? A lot of wrestling fans should take that into consideration.
well, there's a lot of things that a lot of wrestling fans should
Yeah.
take into account, but they don't like to do that
Crazy.
because they would have to think. But did I say that out loud? Anyway, so our next topic is and I'm not even going to call it a rant.
I know. I said it was because, and I'm not a clickbaiter. I don't like doing that shit. When I started this podcast,
I'll be right back. By the way, I'll be right back. I'm
when I
going
started this podcast 2.5 years ago. I have friends that have been in the business, just indies. Pittsburgh's a nice hub for indie wrestling. There's 6 or 7 indie feds around here. I've done ring announcing for 2 different feds. I've been the ring announcer. Coming out next.
No way.
6'6", weighing 300 pounds. CJ said, yeah, I got the.
That is so cool.
I only got to do it twice. My health problems keep me from traveling to do that, so I didn't get to do it on a regular. They were ready to hire me. I'd have been full time, but my health issues keep me from driving. It's over an hour and a half. I can't do it. But when I wanted to do this podcast, I studied wrestling podcast and media for like 6 months before we did it. These guys used to do a talk show on Sunday nights after pay-per-views called The Real Deal Podcast. They'd bring on real wrestlers and have them interviewed and stuff too, like big names and shit. Plus Ray, Big Ray that's on the podcast, he was trained by Axe from Demolition. He's from
my God.
Bill Eadie, shout out to Bill Eadie. And these guys know a lot of guys. I mean, when we went to the first AEW show, CJ was texting Britt on his phone while we're sitting there. He's like, look, I'm like, so I was like, let's do a podcast. Let's bring back your show. But here's the problem was these guys are so busy. They all have jobs or two jobs, plus their indie work. They have families, they have wives, they have kids. So after AEW show, we were in a parking lot trying to figure out a time and a day we can do this podcast. We figured out Thursday nights, and it was cool. We did like one show was, I didn't want it to be the same as all the other podcasts that are out there. So I wanted to be a little bit different. If you've ever seen Pat McAfee's show, his podcast, it's a bunch of dudes sitting around talking about sports. I wanted
Pat
just sitting around talking about wrestling. So for 2 years, we did over 100 shows, and we're taking a step back because they're too busy. They can't do it every Thursday. So I'm still going to do it every once in a while. We still joke each other. We're like brothers. Those guys would be at my house in a second if I needed help with something. But I wanted to get some things off my chest, and I was like, no offense. And they're like, I can't make it. And Doc is the lead commentator for 4 indie feds in this area. Damn. So he's met hundreds of wrestlers. He's the lead commentator. Once a month, he's going to Erie and all over Pittsburgh doing commentator. And Doc's a great guy. He's one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet. So I had different perspectives, all 4 of us. And we did like the greatest tag teams of all time, the greatest stables of all time. And then we reviewed and previewed pay-per-views and stuff. But I didn't want to be the type to sit there and be like, this should have happened. That should have happened. Now, CJ will. And Ray used to book. He ran an indie fed, which is paying the talent, working the talent, booking the shows, everything. So those guys knew their shit. I was just the host. I was the fans' perspective. But I just got so flooded with all these opinions, which everyone's entitled to, because I wanted to study it. I wanted to know what I was talking about. So I got so mad with media. Now, granted, in the rant, I said, in America, the First Amendment, it has freedom of speech. So we're all media if we want to be. But there's too many people that were never hired to think, my opinion is better than everybody else's. Listen to me, which they're entitled to. But the media has been so twisted. So I wanted to talk about that. I talked about the Roman Cody stuff. IWC is International Wrestling Cartel. That's a huge promotion here. It's been around for over 20 years. So to me, there is no IWC. Internet wrestling community doesn't exist, people, because it's not a community. A community is the people that work together. There's no IWC. You can generalize wrestling fans on the internet, but that's not the IWC. Tribalism is at a high right now. It's disgusting to a point. I wanted to rant about that.
So stupid.
We talked about it, and I did my little YouTube short on kids and casuals. We forget, because we know a lot about what's going on a regular basis, that there's kids. Doc has an 8-year-old, which is loves wrestling. And when Cody won when Cody backed off and let Rock take his place, he was like, but Dad, this was Cody's time. He was crying. Like, people get emotional. I get emotional. And I want to dive into I want to forget about what's going on in my real life and have fun with the fantasy of wrestling. So I wanted to get this shit off my chest. So it was more of a rant than people in my community are used to. Because I want to be funny. I want to make people laugh. I want to be silly. If you watch the first 10 minutes of this show, I want to be a weirdo, not a nerd, a geek, a dork, but not really nerdy, but fun. It's called escapism. Come to the internet, come to my show, come to my channel. Forget about, your dad that's dying with cancer, or you're sick, or your friends that don't come around, all the bullshit that people live with. And over half of my community is either mentally or physically disabled. But I've had some real contact and friendship, and a lot of people that are disabled, they got superpowers. They're brilliant. So I want to bring them to the forefront too, and a lot more. So and like Firestar said, I love to bust people's balls and have fun with it. One of my final things was to say, it's a TV show. Don't forget, it's a TV show. Get invested. Dig deep into it. But don't forget, and I keep saying it because I want to drill it into some of these people's heads. It's a TV show. And entertained, amused, and surprised. I'm a note taker. I don't have a very good memory. I was a pothead for a long time, so that didn't help either. But like my notes for that show are still right here. I didn't want to miss anything.
Yeah.
My friends busted my balls. They were like, Blaze, you can't be a heel. You're trying to be a bad guy. You got to have notes. It wasn't from the heart. And I'm like, that's just me. And what I've learned, because when I started, I was coming off of really bad relationship, tons of, problems with my health. And I dug deep into this internet, YouTube thing, because I wanted to bring people together from all over the world. That's why I'm introducing you to some of the people in my community that are coming in here, because the Hardcore Sports Network, the Blaze Radio Network, we got the same ideas. Me and Mitch, he tried to get me on this network for almost a year, but I didn't want to overload myself because that's when I crumble. But I got a lot of stuff off my chest, and I got to explain to people WrestleSense, the podcast, because WrestleSense, your WrestleSense is your sixth sense as a wrestling fan. You like who you want to like, hate who you want to hate, cheer who you want to cheer, boo who you want to boo. You don't have to agree with everyone, just like Sarah said earlier, but try to respect other people's opinions. You can say it's dog shit because I don't like your opinion, but to say you're not allowed to have opinion, that's bullshit, people. Don't let someone on the internet tell you can't have your opinion.
Exactly.
And when that Roman Rock shit happened, not just little podcasters, but people that were like hundreds and thousands of followers that have been around for 10 or 20 years, they got worked. They got worked because they thought they knew where it was going.
Yep.
And whether WWE had to pivot or not, that doesn't matter. They always do. But I wanted you guys to watch it. So we made a little chat. And I said, here's some homework for you ladies. Watch my video. It's not really a rant. You guys are right. Because I didn't sit there. I did almost lose my voice doing it.
Yeah, you did.
If you watch my e-fed, I do play-by-play. I do play-by-play for 2 hours straight. I have over 1,000 shows that I've done. And what it is people create their characters. They send them to me. I let the computer play, and I'm your dungeon master. I take you along a journey, and people role play in the chat and be their characters, and we have fun. We just forget about it. We have fun.
So cool.
I've got 90 different people together. Some people who do the e-fed stuff, they do 10 of their characters. They have 10 people. And I'm not a pat myself on the back type of person, but I brought 90 people together. A lot of them hate each other, but they let that go to play the game with me and have fun. And I think that speaks volumes. Yeah, Count Z, I always say something really corny. I say I want to put unity back into the community. And that's corny. It sounds dumb, but that's what I want to do. If I'm on YouTube, I want to bring people together and leave my mark. This is my digital footprint. When I'm gone, I want people to have to go back to my shows, click on a show and laugh, have fun, forget about what's going on in their life. Mm-hmm. And I've met so many great people. When I started, I was really against, you can't meet someone on the internet and fall in love and have a relationship. I was wrong. I was so wrong. I've met some great people that were there for me when I was sick. When things were going my way, these people were there for me. Mm-hmm. And it speaks volumes. There's 2 people in my chat. I don't know if they're here, but Wrestling Mama is one of them. She's from New Jersey. She met her husband on the internet. She moved to Canada, and they've been living together happy for so long. Aww. So it can happen. It's just, I told you I'm emotional. It's going to happen. That's how much this shit means to me. And it sucks to see people go at each other and all the hatred that's spewed out there. So I want your thoughts on what I had to say on the rant. I know I rambled for a while. Sorry, Mitch. I know you got to go to bed soon.
Mitch will be fine.
Mitch will be fine.
Eat
your brownies and get your energy from that. Okay?
I teased in our chat that there needs to be that Mitch needs. It's about time to cut the leash. One of you guys can run the show. Mitch doesn't have to sit back here and push buttons. Do a phenomenal job. I've known Sarah in chat for a really long time. She's been around for a good while.
Mm-hmm.
Sherry, you came along and took this, and under your wing, you're an amazing host. And Denise is newer, but she fell right into the mold. You three are awesome. I'm so blessed to be here. So I want your takes on my video.
Well, I mean, I guess I can go ahead and start that because, I mean, you're absolutely right that it can bring people together. It brought me and Denise together with a group of us who are Drew fans. We have, kind of formed our own little community and really bonded. But like you said, people just they take it seriously. And like you said, I love the fact that you can get into characters and you can get into storylines. I mean, my dad's best friend was a professional wrestler when I was like 4 years old here in the Crockett territory. And I knew that, what kayfabe was, and I knew what, that these people were actually friends backstage. But I never told my friends that watched wrestling. I never told them any of that because I wanted to kind of, even at that early age, I wanted to kind of preserve that.
Same way.
That thing for these people, that magic for these people. And I also wanted to get lost in the stories. Like, I really got upset when the Rock and Roll Express got beat up by the Russians. That was, that's just one example. And it's okay. Like you said, it's okay to be emotional. I mean, you didn't see me when Drew McIntyre won that championship for the first time. I was bawling my eyes out because I've been a Drew fan since 2007, and to know what he's gone through and to see him go through those things and for him to finally win that match was just the most, it was so emotional. It just felt like, it finally happened. And like you said, these stories, wrestling is stories, whether, back in the day, they were more athletic based as far as, I'm going to beat you for this title, or I'm a better wrestler than you. It's kind of evolved from that. But with the advent of social media, you have communities that come together, like those of us within the Drew fan community, and like, the people in your chats. But you also have these people that are miserable in their life to begin with, and they want to bring you down to their level. And so they think that they have free reign to not just tell us what we should like. And because I've experienced that too, but they also do it to the wrestlers too. Yep. They go into these wrestlers' comments and say the nastiest, most horrible shit that I've ever seen. And it's like, you would never do that in person because you would be a greasy spot on the pavement if you actually said some of this shit. That's just a fact. Because, some of the stuff they say is that nasty. But I love that we have that ability. But, good things can come out of bad things with this whole thing. Like, it was a little over a year ago. I was having a horrible day because there was another wrestler's fan that was getting all over me because, God forbid, I want my favorite to win a championship. Breathe. And it was like, and this person was just like all over me saying, you should want better for the business. He's not best for business, blah, blah. And I was literally to the point that I was going to deactivate my Twitter because I was just in such a horrible headspace. But then I looked at my notifications and it said, Drew McIntyre followed you. And I said, okay, yeah, I've had Drew McIntyre follow me.
Ding.
Please.
It's usually like Drew Matt Ty.
Yeah, you're a dick. You're an asshole. That's your character. And I love him for it. He's always in character. He's a total asshole. Yes, thank you, Triple Beat. Beat's a great dude.
But yeah, and the reason why this dude was like all over me because he started it on me, and I just made this tweet saying, you don't know me, you don't follow me, so let me introduce myself. Hi, my name is Sherry, and I am unapologetically a Drew McIntyre fan. If you can't deal with that, the door is that way. But he kept on, but I didn't even tag him. I did not tag Drew in this. I didn't say. All I said was his name, and it said Drew McIntyre followed you, and I'm like, okay, yeah, it's another fake. And then I clicked on it, and it had the blue check mark, and it had the million whatever followers, and I was like,
oh my God.
it finally happened. I had been, but like you said, there in the dark times that we experience as wrestling fans because of other people can make your experience very, I don't want to say pleasurable because you're sitting next to me but it can, just like Wesley said when Josie called Solo a chicken. I mean, she made those people laugh, and she's made people on the internet laugh hysterically. But then you've got people telling me that my kid is a brat and I need to, tell her not to yell things at wrestlers. Oh God, how dare I do that?
Yeah, people suck.
They truly do suck. And, and I just tell them, my 10-year-old child is more intelligent and better and more well-read than you will ever be. So shut the fuck up.
I got a negativity filter on me, and a lot of wrestling fans don't do it. I'm the opposite. I could sit here like on the podcast every week. I would say I could nitpick at a couple things I didn't like, but I'd rather talk about the things I liked about the shows that we're on this week. I just want to be positive. There's enough negativity in the world. I'm here to bring positivity to this community, a real community.
Right. And we love you for it. But for every person that tries to bring you down for what you like or what you don't like, and there are people there that either they will respect your opinion, and that there are also people that will lift you up and agree with you. And when you find that common ground and you find that, it makes it all worth it.
That's Mitch mentioned his name earlier, Jeffy T, rest in peace. I followed the Hardcore Sports Network. That's one thing he always did. If someone had a difference of opinion in the chat, he would say, I don't think that way, but you're entitled to it. And he was so good at that. That's why he grew. And that's, if you want to grow on YouTube, you got to accept tons of different type of people. If you're narrow-minded and stuff, you're not going to grow that fast. It's going to be difficult.
Right, exactly. But all right, Sarah, what are your thoughts on the musings of Naughty Blaze?
Naughty Blaze.
Blaze.
Naughty Blaze. In my Barry White voice, kind of.
What, Naughty Blaze, Ben?
you need to go down. Oh God. You need to go down a few octaves to get the.
I know. I'm like, I can't go that low. I can't go that low, guys.
When I did that little voice, I couldn't be on the camera. I'm like, Mitch,
oh my God, no.
I have to have an avatar.
I would not have
Sarah,
been
I think
able
you
to.
summed it up because you said earlier, even in the chat, it just my talk that I did opened up maybe a different opinion. There's something else to think about that you might not think about. And that's all I wanted to do. That's all I wanted to do.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. Like I said, I'm always down to listen to a good rant. And I figure, and when you told us to watch it, I was like, well, he says it's a rant. I'm like, Blaze is like really super nice and he's kind and he seems pretty soft spoken. I'm like, am I finally going to get to see Blaze lose his shit? I'm like, okay, I'm down for this.
It was passion more than anger is what it was.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I was like, okay. So when I was watching, I'm like, wait, he's not really ranting though. I'm like, but he's making his point without cussing, without yelling and having, veins pop out of the side of his forehead.
I don't cuss at all. I never fucking cuss.
Never.
Shit, really? I wouldn't fucking guess.
Shit.
But I mean,
and it's true. I could sit there and cuss the whole way through it, but if
Yeah.
you only use the cuss words, they're more powerful if you use them sparingly.
Exactly.
Well, yeah, and you weren't saying them like in a mean way. You know what I mean? You were cussing, but you weren't saying it in a mean way. You were using it as to help with the description and to help get your point across. So that's why I don't mind it.
Is Dead had a dual meaning. it meant, was my podcast ending? And I just wanted people to wait to the end to see it's not ending, it's changing. But your wrestle sense, it seemed like wrestling fans' common sense was dead because they want to draw their own conclusions instead of let things. So it had a double meaning.
Yeah. I mean, and I was really glad though that that you presented everything the way you did, because I'm like, as you were going through your 10 points, I was like, yep, I agree with that. Yep, I agree with that. And it's like, yep, I've been preaching about that for 6 months now. And there were other things where I'm like, you know what? I do need to remember more that there are casual fans and kids. That was one of the ones that jumped out. It's like, not everybody sits and watches all the shows every week like we do. So I do need to be more mindful. It's like, I do need to be more mindful. Like, they're catering to kids and people, like you said prior, a little bit ago, that everybody knows The Rock.
Yeah.
Everybody recognizes that name. Everybody knows who he
You don't
is.
have
So
to
the
like
fact,
him, but it's
exactly. So bringing him in, I totally understand how it's going to get more eyes on the product. You're going to end up making a bunch more money because you have more people buying tickets, buying the merchandise and those types of things. So,
and the fact he's on the board, that's a bad timing, because now a lot of people are going, oh, this is only happening because he's on the board. And it's like, you don't think The Rock is a businessman that's sitting down?
I've heard that a lot.
How should we do this, Triple H? How should we do this, guys? Yeah, he's going to throw his weight around because he is the fucking Rock. But
exactly,
not the end all be all. And I think he knows he wants to do what's best for business.
Mm-hmm. He wants to help make
money. If he's on the board, he wants to make money.
Well, that's exactly it. He wants to help WWE make money, which in turn he makes money. So I kind of think of that as like Mr. Krabs from SpongeBob. Money, 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 money. I love money. Like, that's kind of what I think of it as. But you made a ton of good points.
You mean my friends here? You talking about my friends?
Sandy. Oh my god, I love it.
Talking about you, boy.
My favorite episode of SpongeBob ever was when he ripped his pants.
I ripped my pants.
Oh, jeez.
Because I ripped my pants.
Mitch Plankton down in the corner.
Mitch Plankton. He does look like Plankton.
Oh, I make fun of myself too. I guess I'm fucking Squidward because I got a big nose and a bald head. So.
Oh my god! Oh my god! It's pizza delivery. Yes, that is a good one too. Yeah. I just remember when my nephews were really small, they used to get up and with their little toy instruments and act out like that part where they were singing at the end there when they were singing the song, and that's why that episode is very near and dear to me. But no, like. And I really enjoyed the point that you made about tribalism, because I don't understand why everybody's got a problem with. I mean, aren't you happy that other people have jobs, and aren't you happy that we've got wrestling shows on consistently 6 days a week? 6 days a week, there's wrestling on television. 6 days a week. Yeah, sometimes 7 if there's a pay-per-view. Yep. Like the weekend that Revolution is on, that's on a Sunday. So. It's like I watch AEW, I watch WWE. There's both. I've had people say, "Well, you're more of a, you're an AEW fan. You don't care." No, I care about both, because there's things that both places are doing very well, and there are things that both places are not doing so well, and they really need to work on.
They're different. I think them as different. If they were exactly the same, it's boring.
Exactly, but it's like. I watch a bunch. I mean, and Cherry got me into TNA.
Yeah. Oh, hey now, that's
really
Cherry got Sarah into TNA, guys.
Oh God.
Hubba.
You're welcome, Sarah.
Man.
Or like Test and Albert.
Oh, right. I mean, both organizations aren't perfect. You can like both.
Yeah.
You can like one and not the other.
Yeah. You can like all.
Wrestle sense.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Don't worry, Mitch. The other 2 segments we can go through fast. Don't worry.
Yes, we'll go through fast. So yeah, that's all I wanted to say.
This is great.
Yeah, Mitch, you can chill out. It's okay.
You be alright. You're a big
All right.
boy.
Just go eat some more brownies.
Eat the brownies. All right, Denise, what are your thoughts
You're
on
good.
the on the musings of our esteemed guest here?
Makes me want to blush. I hate being the center of attention. I really do.
Oh, whatever.
I really do. That's why on my eFed, I don't even have my picture up there. I want it to be about the wrestling. Unless I'm getting people together and sending a positive message, I don't want the focus to be on me. Tonight, it should be on you guys. I'm blabbering and I'm elaborating because that's me. And I got my little surprise at the end for you guys, but I don't want you. I'm not egotistical. I'm a very humble person, but my parents raised me right.
You are.
They raised me right to respect everyone's opinion and try to bring people together and have fun.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Denise. Go ahead.
No, you're good. I always
You're good. You're good.
because it always makes sense.
Exactly.
I appreciate that, and I'm a humble guy. But I just want, if I reach one person or two people from that video, that's all I wanted to do. And it seems like I reached a lot of stuff. Some people were in my DMs like, "You should do that every week," or so. I was like, "No, it's not me." I went outside of my wheelhouse a little bit for that. But it needed to be said. I felt so good after I was done. Ask Mitch how emotional I was when that was over. Me and him behind the scenes talked. Right after I was done, he popped in and I unloaded. I was like, oh, that felt so good to get off my chest. I know some people will take it wrong and think that I'm Mr. Know-It-All telling you how to think. I would never do that to people. Drum Monkey's a great example too. Me and him have talked a lot. He goes through a lot of shit in life too, and I helped give him that. His mother and him sent me a care package once. They know I'm a collectible guy. It was little sports bears and tons of sports cards, basketball, football. It was a big, huge box. Like I cried when I got it because I was like, you didn't have to do that. He was like, sitting in my closet. I didn't need it. She sent it to you. And that meant the world to me. That meant the world to me. So I love you, Drum. You're awesome.
Yeah.
Sorry, Denise, your turn. I'm done.
No, you're good.
Please start talking before I do.
A mixture of both what Cherry and Sarah said. I mean, like and even you, Blaze. I mean, like you said earlier, you get emotional very easily. I do as well, and being a Cancer doesn't help in the slightest bit with that. Because I take things very personally as well. So when I have somebody come at me with something, like I get super defensive and everything, and I'll just like either go off on you or like I'll just like back off and just like cry because it's like it bothers me so much. But like for just the escape and everything with the whole like kayfabe and its storyline and stuff, and it's just the TV show. Like I remember, like I mean, again, Ash, Cherry. I remember back in September when Bloodline took AJ out. Like I knew it was storyline, but I was so freaking upset like that. I legit cried. And I mean, like I have bad depression, so with him being gone for as many months as he was, like it declined and it declined and it declined. I was just like, I don't know how much more of this I can take without him like not being on my TV screen, because going back and watching episodes, it's one thing, but it's not the same thing. And with Sarah, I mean, it's just like it gets you to think more about it. It's like some of the stuff you said, just like, yeah, I thought about that. It makes sense, but at the same time, it's just like I didn't think outside of the box with it. So, and it's just like so many other different things could be added to it or it could be taken out. I mean, like it could be like rectified like that. It could go on for 4 freaking years. I mean, like there's just like a plethora of things that can like happen. It's just like you gotta take the good with the bad, and yeah, like you're entitled to your opinion. Don't attack somebody for like putting their thoughts down on paper, or on this case, like the internet. Because I mean, you don't know how that person's feeling. You don't know what that person's going through. You may not agree with them, okay, but I mean, like respect their opinion.
Yeah. And people are allowed to disagree with anything I said on it. It's not. I wasn't preaching.
No, like literally everything you said, it made sense. Like I said, you definitely made me think.
Like I had my friend Odds, Against All Odds. Oh, there we go. Against All Odds. He sent me a message. He right on the video. He goes, I respect your opinion, Blaze, but I don't think that Roman and Rock was a cliffhanger. And he explained why. And I was like, you're entitled to your opinion. I'm going to disagree because we didn't know. To me, a cliffhanger is we don't know where it's going next.
Yeah,
did I agree on how they did it and why they did it? Not completely. I didn't know. But it was a cliffhanger. It was one of those, what you want to talk about at the lunch table tomorrow? Rock, Roman, where does Cody fit in? Why did he give up his spot? Why did he even win the Rumble? I don't know. I think, Mitch, we were going to wait to do the commercial break. And this is, it's just stuff about, I want to explain some of the things that I do. It's 2 commercials that I've made. When I was in college, I wanted to make commercials. I was the marketing major. And I never got to do it. I ended up in retail like me and Cherry were talking about earlier. But these are 2 commercials of that I have that I wanted to show here. So, Mitch, go ahead and commercial break time.
Yo, 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 it's your boy Blaze McCoy, the lunatic kick from the sticks, the Steel City Sultan, your dungeon master, creator, commentator, promoter, MC, DJ, ring announcer, play-by-play, all that good stuff. And you're tuned into the Blaze Radio Network as part of the Digital Wrestling Syndicate here on YouTube, where we're showcasing your original created characters with custom shows, titles, arenas, and music. Our digital wrestling shows feature you in action in the ring, putting unity back in the community and repping many other channels with unique events like the Combat Kingdom Stable Wars, Game Night with interactive chat, games, and prizes, the Get Blaze Talk Show with special guests, show reviews, recaps, and live interviews, digital collector cards for roster pages on our Wix website where you can find everything you need to know about LTD, and check out the TeePublic store for your LTD merchandise. Promotional consideration paid for by the following: Blaze Brews Eliminator Beer. Don't get eliminated, get obliterated. Drink Eliminator Beer. And sit back, relax, let the AI take you for a ride. But always remember this: we're all leaning towards death. Some are just a little bit closer. Peace and positive vibes to all you, and stay tuned to Blaze Radio, hook, line, and sinker. This is your boy Blaze McCoy saying, see ya in my stream. It's a bird, it's a plane, it's a dork, it's a couple dorks, reminiscing some nostalgia in classic video games, toys, and cartoons. I'm your boy Blaze McCoy, and with my awesome friend Super Nacho, we invite you to join us in the Legion of Dorks, a podcast where we talk about our favorites of the past and discuss it all with you. The good old days when video game arcades were full, pinball, and more. When the toy stores were stocked to the ceilings with all your favorites like G.I. Joe, Real American Hero. Well, it started all with Pong with me in the 70s. Then Atari, Nintendo, Sega, ColecoVision, and television, and more brought new classics. Classics like Space Invaders, pew pew pew, and Donkey Kong, Pitfall, Dig Dug was a great one. Spent a lot of quarters on Galaga, that's for damn sure. Tecmo Bowl, hut, touchdown, and all the sports games. Super Mario Brothers became an instant classic, so did Zelda and Sonic the Hedgehog. Mike Tyson's Punch-Out was a great one to play. So was Street Fighter, Hadouken, and all the fighting games. Star Wars toys and Hot Wheels is where I started collecting toys back in the day. Masters of the Universe, and you can't forget the bad guys. Of course. Transformers, more than meets the eye. Inhumanoids are here. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Heroes in a Half Shell. Can't forget the wrestling figures, WWF, AWA, and those little guys, the Muscles. Yeah, I love playing with those, are great. Thundercats, ho! And even Voltron brought them all together with movies, cartoons, and toys. Join us in the Legion of Dork right here on the Blaze Radio Network here on YouTube.
Oh my God. So much of that stuff brought me back.
I know. I was just like,
I gotta give credit to Super Nacho, my friend, who he's the moron of Steel is his character, like a nerdy Superman. But we did a series of like one was on Spider-Man, one was on the original Nintendo series, you know, and then we did like 80s cartoons. We did one-hit wonders of music from the 80s.
Oh,
We did 80s candy, like candy that doesn't exist anymore from the
oh
80s.
my God.
So we're done doing it, and I wanted to bring it back. So on the 25th, I'm going to have all these slideshows from all these things we're going to talk about it, and bring back the Legion of Dork, which reliving our childhood, if you will. And the first one was my EFED. That's when I bring the people together, and we just let the computer play the game, and I do the commentary, and we have fun with it. And so that's two of the things I love to do to bring people together. I hope people can watch the Legion of Dork in that and have fun with it. I'm glad.
That Legion of Dork, because it's funny because Denise knows this. We when we were in Dallas, Texas, Josie was doing the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders.
It's not real, Randy. It's not real. Eliminator beer.
But my husband and I, while she was at practice, went to the National Video Game Museum, and oh my God, yeah, I got to play the stand-up Galaga for the first time, and I don't know how long.
I got a Galaga shirt I like to wear, but my green screen is green, and you can see through. I'm a pinball guy too. I love pinball.
I love pinball too. But yeah, I was Galaga queen. No one beat me, and my husband found out really hard in that when we played against each other at the museum, and I kicked his ass really
But
bad.
I'm not a gamer. Like people think just because I do the wrestling video game, the 2K game, I don't play the game. I can't play it. I don't know how to play the game. All I do is create, let people do their creations, do all that stuff. Because I was a graphic designer before too, so all those logos I made myself.
No, yeah, I don't have time to play anymore.
We let the game play, and I just do commentary. Like people are like, "Oh, you're a gamer. Play this." I'm like, "Dude, you don't want me playing this game. I'm terrible." Simple old games, like for instance,
Yeah.
I got an Atari right here, Atari joystick.
That
I
is
got
so
Atari
cool.
downstairs.
I'm old school, but you know that's just some of the stuff that I love to do here, and this is part of it too. So we can
That's
get.
awesome.
I was
through
gonna
next
say,
two
when I-
subjects, I think we can get through pretty fast. There's 3 actually.
Yeah.
Well, I was also going to say that, you were talking about bringing people together, and, Denise was talking about, how I knew, what she was going through with AJ. She was here at my house for Clash at the Castle, and I desperately needed her because that last match, like,
That sucked. I don't care if they sung a song afterwards. He should have won.
It was-
in my opinion.
He definitely should have won.
absolutely should have won.
But
But
I think you might get your Drew payoff soon, and the perfect segue into the next segment.
perfect segue, I guess. Yes.
I think so. I hope so, and not just because you're people don't fuck with Drew when it comes to Cherry. I'm telling you right now. I think that's what we're leading to, and here's the way I look at it: who was the champ during COVID with no fans? Who deserves a run with fans? Who's got the most intriguing character on WWE right now? My opinion.
Hands down.
It's great. His promos are great, and he's really not heel or face. He's doing some heelish stuff, attacking people and stuff, but he's keeping it real. He even said last week or something, "I'm here to. I've been telling the truth the whole time."
He knows how to get me to agree with him about Orange Cassidy. All he has to say is Drew's greater than Orange Cassidy. I'm like, well, you know what? I'm not going to disagree.
That's my thoughts first. I really hope Drew wins the Chamber and fights Seth on night 1.
Yeah. I guess we went counterclockwise last time. We'll go clockwise this time. Denise, what are your thoughts on the Chamber and what you think we're going to see in that World Heavyweight Championship match?
I would rather it be AJ because I like AJ better than Drew. I like them both. Sorry, I had to say it.
you said it.
Story-wise, Drew makes sense, but ever since
You
TNA
said it,
and
I
before
thought it.
AJ Styles, heel or face, him and Sting. We'll get to Sting.
Yeah, AJ was my dude in TNA. AJ and the Motor City Machine Guns were my dudes in TNA.
He's been great for how many years?
Still is. I mean, I started watching WWE, and when I became a fan of AJ, it put me into TNA. So he essentially introduced me to TNA too.
Him, Samoa Joe, and Kurt Angle, when those 3 were feuding, no matter what 2 or what 3 you put, please, if you're a wrestling fan and you ain't seen it, Google that shit. Gold. Every match 3 were in.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Well, when she asked me where she should start, I literally said Samoa Joe versus AJ versus Christopher Daniels. start there and go down the rabbit
The
hole.
only thing that I see that could happen, which I wouldn't mind either, I don't want a triple threat with Roman, Rock, and Cody or nothing, but if Sami Zayn gets injected into there,
No.
it
He's
might. I'd rather see Drew and Seth alone. But the answer, Denise, do you think it's going to be Drew?
I think it's going to be. If it's not Drew, it's going to be Randy.
Sarah, you're
But no,
muted.
I definitely
Randy.
Drew.
I like Randy. I like Randy, AJ, and Drew in a different way than the ladies do, obviously. And I was like, Mitch, please don't ask us.
well,
who-
she's got tattoos. She's got tattoos of all
Wow.
three.
Yes, please.
She's got tattoos of all three of them. So I mean,
You.
so
This is
Good
so
one to
cool.
have. I like them
What
differently. I said, Mitch, please don't ask us who the sexiest man or woman are.
I love that
Do it,
question. That was the best.
That was the first show.
Oh, Mitch, no, Mitch, no.
Go watch the old Queens of the Ring. They were all good.
God,
Please
Mitch,
go watch the old versions of
Mitch.
Queens of the Ring. If it's your first time watching Queens of the Ring, because it's on my channel tonight, go to the Hardcore Sports Network.
I think
Subscribe.
that was the
Watch
very first
They are
episode.
great.
Oh my God.
All right. So we don't get off track. Sarah, do you think it's going to be Drew?
I think it's what makes the most sense storyline wise. I think it makes the most sense with who deserves it. And I agree with Earl's comment in the chat. WWE owes Drew a receipt. He held that title down during the pandemic in front of 0 people, in front of empty crowd, empty arenas. Like they owe him a receipt. I think it makes the most sense, like storyline wise. Would I like to see Randy do it? Of course I would. However, because now they've pivoted back to Cody facing Roman, it doesn't make sense to have. I think it just makes more sense. I don't think it makes sense to take somebody from SmackDown and put them against somebody from Raw. They're already doing that. They don't need to do it again. But it's just he deserves it. It's what makes the most logical sense.
right.
Producer Mitch, do your job. Drop the link to the playlist in the chat.
And-
Do I have to tell you how to do your job, Mitch?
Damn.
Jeez, Mitch.
Oh, and I like how
Slacker.
telling a story. Listen, here's another thing that I didn't talk about in my video. You can tell a story just by the fighting in a match. And a lot of people
Yep, you sure
forget that.
can.
Working on a certain leg or a knee injury or how they approach the fight. You can tell a story just in the fight. It doesn't
Sure
always have to
can.
be a soap opera story.
And that's become such a lost art form.
That's why like AEW tells more stories about the fight in the ring.
Yes, they
it's
do.
more reminiscent of
Of
like
WCW.
NWA,
and
old school
AEW.
NWA. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And WCCW. A lot of people forget a world-class wrestling. Now it's getting a lot more shine because of the Claw movie and the Von
Right.
Erichs. But
Right.
I love that shit, man. The Missing Link and One Man Gang and Dingo Warrior, who became the Ultimate Warrior. I mean, WCCW was fun to watch. There you go, Mitch. Good job. Here, hold on.
Well, I mean, you have Von Erich versus the Freebirds. I mean, that's
Yeah, Freebirds. Yep.
Yeah.
And you were
And-
talking earlier, we're getting a little taste of it. And that's what I like about AEW too, is they brought in some New Japan stuff. People are like, oh, there's too many ROH New Japan stuff. It reminds me of the territories. And if
exactly.
you remember, the Freebirds would be on NWA. Dusty would be on WCCW. They shared talent. When Triple H brought in the TNA Knockouts champ, it's very small, but we never saw that with Vince.
Oh, and
You never
Oh,
did that.
never.
I
Never,
think-
ever.
I hope, if as long as Triple H stays in power and nothing really bad comes out, he's going to do more of that. It won't be huge where they don't want to focus on a different company, but there's nothing wrong with showing people. Most fans are not casuals and kids. Most fans are the ones in the know. That like if they would brought Okada in, WWE people ain't gonna know who Okada is.
Mm-mm.
Oh no, they won't know who
Might,
that
but
is.
not as
No
many
way.
as if he pops on the AEW because he's been on AEW.
Right.
And I can't follow Andy Price. It's in the chat from New Zealand, Australia. He knows all about Stardom and New Japan. I don't, but I know their wrestling is fucking phenomenal.
Right.
And Ospreay, and Okada and
I'm so
Mercedes.
excited for Will Ospreay to come to AEW.
They have
you have
so,
no
Ospreay
idea.
and Okada have so much talent, but the people in America haven't seen them enough. So I'm glad they're finally getting their shine. Ospreay too. If Will Ospreay came out at the Rumble, half of that crowd would be like, "Who?
Who is this person?"
But he's fucking one of the best in the world."
Right. And I was introduced to them because when Drew was released, I kept up with him through YouTube from ICW and What Culture Pro Wrestling and Evolve and all that stuff. So I saw that Will Ospreay versus Drew Galloway match and was like, holy shit. And they put on a hell of a match. I mean, it was amazing.
I mean, AJ and Will did as well.
Yes.
In Japan.
Yes. And I think that there was a Drew and Zack Sabre Jr. Match.
The AEW Dynamite Watch Along telecast tomorrow night, ladies and gentlemen.
Telecast. But as far as the current topic, I think
Love
we
you,
know
Rob.
where I stand on this. I don't think I need to say, but you're talking about Sami Zayn.
I'm afraid they might. That's all I'm saying, Cherry.
Oh, I know, but for fuck's sake, he was in the biggest freaking storyline last year with the whole thing with the bloodline and breaking away with the bloodline, and he was in the main event.
True.
Of night one.
You're right.
It's not like poor, and for God's sake, he's held a title in front of fans before, whether it's a world title or not. He's held a title in front of fans.
Yeah.
Drew's not had that.
No.
You realize that he has only held on the main roster 5 titles.
Yeah, I know.
15 years, and only 3 of them, and they were relatively short reigns, were in front of fans. I see, and both the tag team titles, he only held it for like 2 weeks with Cody Rhodes, and then
true.
what was it, like 3 months with Dolph? I mean,
Yeah,
that's
it was just a
fucking
couple
criminal.
months with Dolph.
I know it's not a topic, but the Okada, Mercedes, and Ospreay joining AEW this year, don't get me wrong, it's not going to change the world and big needle mover and make it way better. But it
doesn't
is
have to be
something-
though.
But there are a huge segment of fans that are Sasha stans. They're going to come back because she's on there. It's
Right.
not going to change the world, but you're going to see fans who aren't used to Ospreay and Okada great wrestling, and I'm looking forward to it.
You know
Absolutely.
why I'm so excited for Will Ospreay is because I didn't even know New Japan existed until AEW came around and they started having New Japan guys and gals come and wrestle with them. That's how I got introduced to Will Ospreay. I really liked his style, went back on YouTube and watched a bunch of his stuff, and I was like, holy shit, this guy's he's amazing. He's
Mhm.
Yeah, he does shit that no one else does.
It
Yeah.
was insane. And I am so excited. I'm so looking forward to actually being able to see him on TV on a regular basis.
Right.
That's why I'm very excited.
Me too.
Right. But I don't want to say that, but of course you've got that fucking cash in that could possibly happen.
Yeah,
Oh
that's-
God.
He's
Do
got
we
150
really want
days
to
do it.
fucking see Lollygagger Tip Top Man as champion? No, we do not.
I mean, I don't
No.
mind him, but I think this is a good prospect for a failed cash in.
Absolutely.
Me too. I think I agree.
I mean,
He can actually benefit from a failed cash in, I
it
think.
could- I mean, they talked about like breaking him away from Judgment Day and turning
That
him
could be the
face.
reasoning.
That could be the reasoning.
Yep. He
could
didn't
fail
want
that
any help, and
cash
they
in.
fucked it up for him or something. I don't know.
Drew
I could see
can
that.
win. He
That's
tries
right.
to crash in on Drew, and then he felt, and then Drew, by hook or by crook, beats him, and that leads to that. But
Absolutely.
but no, I will not move from my stance. He absolutely should have a run, and especially with this character he's got now, which is, I
It's
mean,
so great.
if you watch like his stuff from ICW, it's like that really vicious heel thing he had going in ICW, but kind of mixed with the cocky, jovial guy that he had been in WWE, and he is just like, and it's all his creation.
Cherry,
Triple H
if he does get that shot, Cherry, here's an idea. Whenever Bray Wyatt was really, really big, There was a group of individuals that I used to watch on. His name's Wrestling Days. He's from the UK. He does watch-alongs. I did an
I
interview.
love Wrestling Days.
He's so awesome. I interviewed him. You can check it out. It's a great interview.
Oh, seriously?
I never thought he would say okay, but I had so much fun interviewing him.
Oh, I love
He
him.
had
He's
a huge
wonderful.
segment of fans that were Bray stands. Whenever Bray was really big, they used to do a little podcast every week about Bray. If Drew gets his show, you should do a show every week on Drew.
Hell yeah.
I love that idea.
You can obviously talk about him a lot. It's obviously an intriguing character. If he gets that title fight, I would have like a little extension of the Queens of the Ring where just Drew. Just call it just Drew for an hour.
Just
Oh, I love that.
I love that idea.
You guys know so much. Cherry, you know the history of it. And if he's getting his shine like he deserves from the COVID days, that people would want to watch that.
That's
cool.
that's a really good idea. Like I said, he's even surprising me with. I've always known he is great, but
That's why I did the T-shirt thing earlier because I saw him take the T-shirt off and have
That is like the most genius shirt ever.
But I've always said the WWE has always held him back, and it was painfully obvious when he went to the Indies that he was being held back. Like his promo work when he came out and said, "I am the fucking business," and it's like, okay, I always loved him back, in WWE, but I was like, where the hell did this guy come from?
The only thing I didn't like about Drew is when he cut the top ropes with the sword and shit. I didn't want someone to get stabbed by the fucking sword.
That was his idea, but
having the sword is cool, but I didn't want him to drop it and someone gets bludgeoned by a damn sword and we witness murder on TV.
Well, and I was like, I get the whole thing about the sword, and I love the sword, but I am glad that it's gone away with this new character.
Yeah, he doesn't need it. He really doesn't.
Does it? And
he's got it right now.
But he's been held back, and the little mini feud he had with Roman going into Survivor Series 2020. Drew Galloway and ICW had Roman talk to him the way he did at that contract signing would have been destroyed by Drew Galloway. I knew WWE was holding him back to make Roman look strong. That's just how it was. But to see him, and I know for a fact because I watched the podcast with Heath Slater. And when they were here in Charlotte for the Raw in September, I was at that show. They went and had dinner together at Heath's house. And Drew was telling him that, they're going to finally start listening to my idea about this darker character. This is all Drew. If it were up to Triple H, he and that idiot had not been fired, he would still be in that tag team with Matt Riddle. He was content with shoving Drew into that stupid tag team and letting him languish. This is all Drew. And that's why that makes me very proud that what he's doing right now is all him. And, and if he really has resigned, I think he has actually resigned, because why would they be putting this much effort, doing this much new merch, and putting him on posters for May and August?
That's why I said, what did I say? I've said this a couple times, and I've commented too, I think on some of Earl's Friday Night SmackDown watch-alongs. I'm like, they are not going to put somebody in a storyline for a title, or give them a title shot, or put a title on them if they haven't re-signed their contract. They're not going to do it.
But the Dark Sheet says he's going.
I'm like, that's why I think he's signed, and they're not saying anything because it's giving intrigue to the story.
It's building the story. It's building that tension for this story. What's Drew's story? Because God forbid someone else has a story besides Cody, but he has. But this story is Drew is disenfranchised, and he's bitter or whatever. It's that tension with this contract that is helping this. And if people can't see this, and what was funny is that report from Survivor Series where a certain person with Frightful said that they saw him backstage and that he was, cursing and he was not happy and he stormed out of the building. That certain person 2 hours before, I saw in Winston-Salem at WrestleCade. So no, they did not see him do or hear him do shit because I saw him 2 hours later. There's no way he was there 2 hours after I saw him. So just saying.
Okay, producer Mitch, I got to put you to work. My Nightbot is not working. It normally drops a bunch of links to the Hardcore Sports Network and stuff. I want anybody that's on the chat, if you're on the Hardcore Sports Network, Mitch, drop the link for Hardcore and my channel so people can go to the other channel and subscribe.
Yes, drop.
My Nightbot also does dad jokes.
Oh,
That's why I
I
picked
think that's great.
when you
All
do
right.
dad joke, it'll do it, but it hasn't done it. So, Mitch, if you could put those two in there for the people in the chat, go subscribe to the other one. These two communities are phenomenal, and I think everyone should share the love.
Yes, absolutely. And while you're working there, Mitch, what's our next topic?
Next topic. There you go, Mitch. Good job. Highlight Sports Network. What's the Highlight Sports Network?
Oh my God, please no.
This one's a quick one. I wouldn't be surprised if they did, but I wouldn't be upset if they didn't. Because he's done he says some really dumb shit, and you never know what he's going to do. But when he was at the press conference, he was funny as shit. And when he said, Cody should have punched him in the mouth, and The Rock did that, and you could see The Rock in the background turn around like, look at Punk.
It was so great.
So he used to do commentary every once in a while on AEW, and he's a smart dude. This is the story I've told on my WrestleSense. When I met CJ Sensation for the first time, it was in a VFW wrestling here, and he fought CM Punk. And I remember CM Punk getting up onto the apron, and 25-cent beers were flowing, so we were drunk, me and my 5 friends, and we kept chanting Pepsi, Pepsi, Pepsi. And Punk got pissed. CJ Sensation ended up beating CM Punk, and so I've always told CJ, and I'm like, I'm going to tell people that you're the guy that beat CM Punk. He's like, but he did. But that's I wouldn't be surprised if they did it, but I wouldn't be upset if they did not. That's my take on it. Real quick with this one.
Well, I'm going to completely agree with that because I just this whole I'm happy CM Punk thing. Sorry if I don't buy it.
Well, he's doing that just so he can turn heel eventually. That.
He's been a malcontent for how many years now, and all of a sudden, and he was a malcontent. Granted, some of the stuff that happened in AEW wasn't necessarily his
Kids
fault.
and casuals, they don't know.
Thank
They don't
Exactly.
know what happened in AEW, so they're just happy to see Punk back. So I can see why they embellished into face Punk. I'm here. He's just gonna turn.
But
it sucks he got hurt because I wanted to see where they were going to go with it. But it's good for Drew fans.
yeah, well,
It was going to be Seth. It was going to be Seth Punk. Let's be real.
oh, it absolutely was going to be, and I would have been absolutely pissed off because Drew would have been in yet another match with Sami Zayn.
I love Biggie. I miss you, Biggie. I want him to come back.
I wish.
Biggie would be great as a host.
I would rather Big E host both nights, if I'm being honest with you, because I just absolutely adore that man.
We got to please to the other fans too.
He's one of the sweetest that I've ever met. I can tell you that. But something that really caught my attention when Drew did his first promo on Punk was, wow, he talked about the things that CM Punk did to him behind the scenes. Now I know that whatever happened has been resolved because I actually have a story about. The independent wrestler Effie showed me his Drew McIntyre foot tattoo, and he showed it to me at an indie show, and he said that Drew's seen it because I actually sent him a picture of it. He said, well, Punk already texted me a picture of it, so I know whatever happened has been resolved. But if you go and
they don't
read
like each other,
well, they don't have to like each other, but but Drew's a better man than me because if you go and read Drew's book, there's a chapter called Snakes in the Grass. And he does not name the person, but he talks about a certain higher up wrestler on the card that talked shit about him and around the time that he started losing his push and basically tried to ruin his life and career.
Punk was a piece of shit. For a while, I mean, he's Punk. That's who he is. He's a piece.
But for the longest time, I thought it was Cena because that perceived him as a threat because he had that reputation with Alex Riley and the Nexus and with Kennedy. But when I heard those words from Drew, I literally was like, "Oh my God, it was Punk." It had. I mean, that's. But like I said, Drew's a better man than me because I would.
You know who we should be thanking though more. I don't know for a fact. This is just me speculating.
Right.
Triple H, because you got to think Triple H said we're going to sit Punk and we're going to sit Seth down, maybe even like the Drew after Drew, and say this is best for business. People are going to love this. Because if Tony Khan would have done that with Punk and the Bucks and stuff, they would have had a big time storyline that everyone wanted to see, Kenny Omega and all that, but they didn't do it. I think Triple H, when Punk came over, said, you know, I know Seth don't really like you, Drew don't really like you, but if you guys have matches, it could be huge.
Well, I think the Drew and Punk thing got solved a long time ago. But like I said, he's a better man than me because I don't know. I'm a Scorpio. So it's hard. I when someone wrongs me, I can hold a grudge for a long time. But I would much rather see Big E as the host because I would love to see him involved somehow other than being on a panel. But
yeah.
Sarah, what do you think about Punk and as the host?
I think it would be cool. Like, I know Denise does not like CM Punk at all, but I do. And I think it would be great. I thought he did a fantastic job. He was hilarious at the press conference thing last week. So it wouldn't surprise me, but I'd be okay if it was Big E as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that would be perfectly fine with me too, because I miss seeing him.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm kind of okay either way, you know.
Just not Hulk Hogan again. I can't take that crap.
Oh God,
he did tease that he was going to be in the Rumble. I thought that was funny.
Like, I'm like, he just tosses all the ass out like really, really quickly, please.
Like him or hate him, Punk can be entertaining, and that's just you know, he can be. Let me say, polarizing. He can be compelling and polarizing.
I mean, I always loved him back in the day. Like, he was one of my favorites.
Long hair, Punk.
Oh God, yep. I was all about and ROH. I was because I used to tape trade ROH. I loved ROH, and I loved the Straight Edge Society even before that. Like you said, I love long hair Punk.
The Nexus shit when he told Vince about himself. Some realism.
That was.
I mean, he was absolutely right about all that.
Some realism mixed into your wrestling. They do that all the time. Ever since way back in the day, Ric Flair used to do that all the time.
Oh yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
But I don't necessarily think I have to ask, but Denise, what are your thoughts about it?
Here's what she thinks.
Well, Denise says no yeet.
Oh, God, no.
No yeet.
God, no yeet. To no yeet.
So Denise, you're not going to get a CM Punk tattoo?
Fuck that. Hell no.
That's the same area she's got her Randy tattoo anyway. She ain't getting it. No.
That's right.
I only have one tattoo and I can't show it to you.
Oh, okay.
It's on my ankle. It's on my ankle. It's on my ankle.
Oh, crap.
I was gonna ask if it was like the Batista Tweety Bird butt tattoo.
I'm not wearing pants either, people. Just so you know.
Oh Lord, okay. So I think we know. You know,
hey, this is my Valentine's Day, people. Let me dream.
Lord. All right. So, do we have another topic, Fearless Leader?
One last one.
All right. Take it away, sir.
I'll start. Mine. I could think about it. The match was a draw. There was no winner. It was 1988 Clash of Champions, Sting, Ric Flair, and the reasoning is because it kick-started him into stardom, created one of the best feuds of all time between him and Flair over and over and over. Even some of the TNA shit, whenever those two were working there, they didn't like totally feud, but they did put him in the ring and stuff. But Ric Flair was way ahead of his time in every way. And from Surfer Sting to Crow Sting to Joker Sting. I love every bit of it. When he got treated like shit in WWE, I hated it. I couldn't stand it. You know, to not give someone that's so great. And I think that's part of the previous regime not giving the shine to the guy from WCW, because he was WCW, Sting. For the longest time. He was the guy who was trying to stop the NWO, for goodness sakes. You know, and when he left, I never thought he was going to come back, because I read stuff about Sting and I'm like, shit, he's never coming back. Then when he did come back to WWE and he had a handful of matches, losing, and he never got, he got his pop and all that. But to see him go to AEW, I was hopeful. I didn't know he'd be jumping off of fucking balconies and shit. But listen, Sting, what he has done in AEW, Sting wanted to do. Tony Khan has been wide open saying that Sting and Bryan Danielson have tons of booking power. They have been in control of their characters for about the whole time. Rightfully so. They're brilliant minds. Sting, people were weird about Sting getting his title last week. Sting didn't want it. He told Tony he didn't want to win. Tony said, sorry, this time I'm putting my foot down. You're going to hold a title. Now, whether the Bucks beat him, which I really think they should, I love the Bucks as heels. I'm not a huge Bucks fan. I think they're great. I think people underestimate them as beautiful minds in wrestling because they're normally pricks. You're supposed to hate them. And I like them better as heels. Sting handpicked them. That's who he wants to fight for his last match. I thought it was going to be Darby and he would pass the torch. And I'll bring up my boy CJ again, because working with so many workers, he says I'm trying not to be one way or the other with this, because it does change. Most wrestlers lose their last match, especially if you're a heel. You should lose your last match. Sting may win his last match.
I hope he does.
But I really see, because if the Bucks win, people will boo, the Bucks will leave, but Sting will get that final moment with the crowd. Mm-hmm. And when he won the title the other week, I kind of knew it was going to happen. I didn't know how it was going to happen. That's also with the Cody thing right now. We know it's going to happen, but we don't know how. They're going to make him go down. Drew, he's probably going to win a chamber. We don't know how. They're going to make it look like Drew has no chance of winning that chamber during the match, but he's going to find a way to do it. That's my take. But for Sting, that's my favorite of all time. I could talk about him forever. To see him retiring on his own terms and to be able to fight who he wants to fight, and he didn't have to have these 5-star matches. He didn't have to do all the stuff he did before. He's going to nowhere be near he was back then. He's fucking 60-something. But to see him do it, he's fucking 60-something. So,
and not embarrassing himself.
No, yeah, he's
exactly.
He is another one who's timeless. He looked great when he came out before, and he can still do a lot of things he used to do. But then you see some of these guys, and listen, for the people out there who bitch about old people in wrestling, it's been around forever. It's never going to go away. That's what they do for a living. I remember Nick Bockwinkel fighting till he was super old. Bob Backlund fought till he was super old. That's been in wrestling for decades. It's never going to change. Stop bitching about there's so many old guys doing this and that. That's part of wrestling.
Exactly.
Once again, it's a TV show. So Sting, definitely that Flair match at Clash of Champions. And Clash of Champions was, they put it on regular TV sometimes.
Yes.
And I love that. So Sting's great. He always was. He always will be. I'll be sad. But I had a little tiny tear in my eye when he won, even though I knew he was going to win. I kind of thought, because I saw the dirt sheets and I try not to look at him as much. And that was another thing with my rant, my little video. I studied for 6 months the wrestling podcasting world because I wanted to know what I was getting into and be decent at it. I wanted to have a structure, know what I was talking about, lead the way as the host. So I studied the shit out of podcasters I loved to podcasters I couldn't fucking stand, because I wanted to learn what to do and what not to do, what looks bad, what looks good. And I was just glad to be able to do it. And I think, I forget where I was going with that, but it's just, I could talk about Sting like you can talk about Drew. I mean, forever.
I could talk about Sting like that too.
But it's going to be, that should be the main event of Revolution, whether there's a world title fight or not. Plus, by the way, I love Samoa Joe. I just need to say that. Him on the mic is phenomenal, and I'm so glad he's getting.
Like
I don't
Earl
know
says, we're old school, but
You're
we're cool.
okay, but I don't know if I'd go as far as cool.
Earl is
You're
cool.
lukewarm. You're lukewarm there. Earl.
I love Earl. I always tell people if I bust your balls, I like you. If I'm jagging around with you, I like you. If I don't like you, I probably won't engage with you at all because you're not worth my time. Sting Flair.
Oh, well.
That's mine.
All right. Denise, do you have one? Do you have a favorite Sting match or moment or moment?
I can't say yes because I'm still in the process of watching TNA. I'm at the end of 2007, although I will say I did enjoy his and Kurt Angle's mini feud. That was
Good
entertaining
one.
as hell.
Is it the one where where Angle beat up Garrett, his son, at football practice? Yeah.
Wow. Garrett Bischoff. Holy shit.
No, Garrett Borden.
Oh, I thought you were saying Garrett Bischoff. Remember? I remember
Garrett
that.
Borden.
His kids look phenomenal too. I wonder if they're going to get into the business.
Garrett's wife is actually working for TNA, and she's not TNA, AEW, and she's an independent wrestler. And I think Steven, the youngest son, is going to wrestle now. So, but
cool.
yeah, that, like, what she was talking about. I remember that feud and thinking, like, I really like Kurt Angle, but you're going against my man. No.
Yeah, and I mean, like, when I hear Sting, like, I remember watching, again, I was kind of like, all right, who is this person? Like, what the hell is up with the makeup and everything? Because, like, I didn't know who he was. But him and Triple H at WrestleMania, I can't remember which one it is. And then
Orlando, I think.
That's what I thought. Okay.
That'll tell you if you don't.
And then but it's just like when I hear Sting, like I sometimes forget that he was in WWE. I hear Sting, I think TNA.
Right. He did phenomenal work in TNA too.
He did.
And
that, like, even like him teasing him was at the end of 2000. I think it was toward the end of 2006 or beginning of 2007, where they were just teasing the hell out of the audience with him, and I was like, I freaking love this because it's like they'll turn the lights out or like they'll do the whole little like video thing of him, but that was it. And then they turn the lights out, and I remember when they turned the lights out, Sabu was showing up, and it's like, no, now it's Sting. Holy crap!
Right.
Kind of a thing. So
Sting Triple H was WrestleMania 31.
Yeah, it was 31. That's it. Okay. Yeah.
I'm a fast.
That was 9 years ago. Jesus Christ! Oh my God. But yeah, I love me some Sting in TNA. And he had so many different things that happened in TNA because he was there for a long time.
Yep.
But Sarah, I know you watch a lot of AEW. Is like your favorite Sting match a moment in AEW, or is it something that you've watched?
Well, I can't pick just like one match or one moment. I loved it. And I said this earlier, I loved it when he was Joker Sting. I love Joker Sting. I think he always did a really good job. I loved him in TNA. Because again, you got me into TNA. So I went back and started.
Guys, get over it. Come on.
Yes. And I'm not talking about Testin Albert either. So that banger of a tag team back in the day. But no, I loved Joker Sting. And I really enjoy watching him in AEW because you can tell he is having a lot of fun.
Yeah.
He's having so much fun. And I can see like his relationship with Darby. It's crazy. Because it's like, I think when I see them and they're looking at each other, Darby's looking at Sting like a father and Sting is looking at Darby like a son. Yes. I think that is just the coolest thing. They've got amazing chemistry together. And Sting is a funny guy. Like, he's really funny.
Hilarious.
So I just that's why I enjoy watching him in AEW. He's just having so much fun, and it always gets my heart racing when I see him doing dangerous spots. Like crashing through
Yeah.
tables or jumping off of, really high ledges. And it just it freaks me out because I'm like, please don't hurt yourself before your retirement match. Please don't hurt yourself. Like,
I mean, everyone knows the impact he's had on Darby, but just think about the other young ones in the back, what they can learn from Sting.
Exactly.
Seems like the type that wants to exude and help the younger talent.
that's why I'm hoping he stays on in some kind, like a coach or
me too.
capacity where he can help influence these young talent. Because I even said when in that last match he and Darby just had against as Earl so lovingly refers to him as Kraft, Ricky Starks and Big Bill, it was I could tell when they went off in their little teams of two. I'm like, how awesome must it be for Ricky Starks to be able to be wrestling Sting right now one-on-one?
Yeah.
As a young talent, somebody that probably watched Sting when he was younger, that takes a lot of, and Sting has put a lot of trust in him to be able to have those moments with him. So while I do not like the fact that he's chosen to have his last match against the Young Bucks, because I don't care for the Young Bucks at all. If other people do, that's fine. That's fine. It's your cup of tea. That's cool. It's just not my cup of tea, and I don't really care for them. But I don't like that he picked them, but I do respect it because he's, like you said, Blaze, he's getting to retire on his own terms. So if he wants to do a tag match, that's cool. If he wants to do it against Young Bucks, that's cool. But I don't really have like a favorite moment. But
so I'm a big list guy, and I looked it up, and I've done it all the time on WrestleSense, and I'm always saying this doesn't have to be your top 10 or your list, and you can argue it and lament it or whatever. But I found major feuds that Sting has had over the years. There's 12 of them. One is Vampiro, which I love that.
Wow.
The Bret Hart feud in WCW is number 11.
Oh my God. My number one and my number 3.
Sid Vicious, when Vicious was really badass.
That was 90.
I loved Sid Vicious when I was a kid.
Sting and the Four Horsemen is number 9.
Oh God, yes.
With them for a while.
Yes.
Sting and Great Muta, like you mentioned earlier. Muta. Number 7 is Sting and the Dangerous Alliance. I don't remember a lot of this, but it was when Paulie Dangerously had Zbyszko, Stone Cold, the Midnight Express, Rick Rude, who was a big feud, and Arn Anderson.
Yeah, they had Bobby Eaton had because it was just Bobby Eaton that was left. Yeah, they actually had a War Games match with the Dangerous Alliance, the Sting Soldiers or whatever it was.
Yeah. Number 6 is Rick Rude. Number 4 is great.
They were phenomenal in the ring together. Oh my God.
Number 5 is Cactus Jack, which those were brutal matches. Lex Luger, one of my favorites, is number 4, feuding with Sting. Big Van Vader feud. Great American Bash 1992 is number 3. Ric Flair at number 2. I'd probably have that number 1. But they have Hogan and the NWO as number 1, which he was the anti-NWO, always trying to stop the huge group. I loved it. We even had the fake Sting and all that too. So I love that.
God, yes.
Kind of breaks down his career prior to the WWE and the AEW stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I completely agree. Well, I mean, you took my favorite match of all time because actually that is my favorite match.
I would have picked the War Games too because I love the War Games ones too. This War Games that we get in NXT and W, that's not my War Games.
No,
my War Games has a top on it. It's submission only.
Exactly.
And it was more like groups that have been together. They've done that a little bit. They've done it, good, but that's my War Games, the old ones when it was just brutal.
Yes, absolutely. But yeah, that 1988 Clash
that started everything. That's put him into stardom.
It's my favorite match of all time. Like, period.
You can have the same favorite match. And that goes for a lot of younger wrestling fans should take note. No one won that match. No. It was a draw.
And it was only given to Flair because I had the judges. Yeah. They were like, the judges.
It told so many stories. It got him the notoriety he needed and deserved.
But see, I'm actually a Sting fan from before that because
Blade Runner Rock.
Because we used to get UWF, so I was into the Blade Runners. He was Blade Runner Sting. I think, but
Rock
even
was
before that, even before that, he was in Continental Wrestling in Memphis. They were the Freedom Fighters. Him and Warrior were the I think they were that he was Flash because his last name is Borden, so it's Flash Borden.
Flash Borden, yeah.
And Rock, yes. But Blade Runners came in and they just and everyone was just like, oh, they're ripping off the Road Warriors, maybe to a certain extent.
That's my favorite tag team of all time, by the way. Road
Warriors.
By far.
But I was a fan from way back then, and like if you go back and there, it actually is on YouTube. It's the Brawl of New Orleans, where it was after Sting had left Eddie Gilbert's faction and had teamed up with like Chris Adams and Shane Douglas. They had this brawl throughout with Terry Taylor and Eddie Gilbert throughout the entire arena. They were picking up like kegs of beer and throwing them at each other. They like got into this huge brawl, and it was just like, oh my! This is before he even went to NWA. Before he, oh, you saw?
Yes. I have to show you my pussy.
Well, this one's one of mine. This is Drew, actually. This is actually Drew.
I'm the old cat man. I have 3. They're all rescues.
I got 2, and I got 2 cats and a dog. So, so I mean, I think about that. I think about you were talking about.
It's because of the
red eyes.
Because of the background.
Green screen.
Oh, so he's got green eyes, and so it's like showing red.
That's hilarious.
I have a video on my Instagram when I took her to the vet once. She hates the car, and she's
my cat does too.
I'm allergic to dogs. For those out there that want to say you should have a dog, I love dogs. I'm just allergic to them. So,
right.
Bummer.
I'm the old cat man.
No, but I mean, in NWA, like you were talking about, everything he did with the Horsemen. That night that he got injured, he like severed his patella tendon trying to get to Ric Flair because they kicked him out of the Horsemen because he won the number 1 contenders match, and Doug Dillinger, the security guy, he was trying to get over the cage, and he pulled him down and pulled him so hard because they didn't let this guy know that this was kind of the plan. He was kind of trying to do his job, but he pulled him down so hard. He severed his patella tendon, and injured him to the point where he was actually supposed to win the NWA title from Flair before Warrior beat Hogan at WrestleMania. But that had to be put on hold until if he ever got better, because before that, Sting was one of the very first people that actually came back from that injury. To his patella tendon. And he came back. And so one of my other favorite matches is the Great American Bash 1990 when he finally beat Flair. It wasn't the greatest match that they ever had because, I guess he was still kind of, testing the knee and everything because he had not really been in the ring. And it was, a couple of months after RoboCop. But, you have to look that one up. But it told a story that this, and I guess the injury kind of made the story even better. But his matches with Rick Rude, and you talked about Cactus Jack and Vader. I mean, anyone who could survive a match with Vader at that point has got to be pretty damn good because Vader never gave an inch. He was brutal in the ring.
Okay, big monster. This is the monster.
Roar.
Oh,
it's the baby. It's the youngest one.
He's so cute.
God, so big.
But what better? I don't think any long-term storytelling has ever been done better than Sting versus NWO. You had who else can you say sat there in silence for 18 months and was able to tell that story without saying a word? That tells you how great Sting was and is. And all the stuff he did in TNA, she talked about that Angle feud. And I love me some Joker Sting. That's actually Josie's favorite. I mean, I'll speak for Josie. Josie's favorite thing that Sting ever did was when he beat up Eric Bischoff as Joker Sting, where he talked about, "You hurt my feelings, Eric."
I'm looking forward to that.
Oh my God. You cursed at me, Eric. Whatever shall I do? Yeah, I mean, it was just freaking hilarious. And the poker table with Kennedy, like, is, and when he like put the paint, when he kind of first went Joker Sting and put the paint on Hogan, and I mean, and all this stuff, like, and the WWE stuff pissed me off so bad. It almost, like, the only time there was only one other time that I was as mad as I was when Sting got beat by Triple H was Clash at the Castle. Those two times I almost wanted to quit watching wrestling because I was so mad. But I've always had a lot of dings against Tony Khan as a booker. But one thing that he has absolutely done correct is let Sting have his moment and have his and end his career the right way. Hi, pretty. Oh,
This is my third one. This is Blaze.
Blaze and Blaze. Oh,
Blaze McCoy is not my real name.
what? I thought we were keeping it kayfabe, Blaze. Come on.
Well, my people already know that. Coming home from work, 2001, from Verizon, I almost ran over a kitten on a back road. I stopped, got out the car, and looked. This guy came running to me, and he was about the size of his head. So this is Blaze. He's 13. This is the old man, right? You're gonna die and leave me with two girl cats, aren't you?
He's so cute.
Good luck to you on that one.
Yeah, I know. But these are my babies. These are my therapy.
Yeah, but like you said, Sting is my number one of all time. I
Yep,
mean,
me too.
Sting, Drew, Brett, and Edge. Those are my guys. But
It's 10:30. I'm waiting for Mitch to pop in. He's
I'm
like,
waiting.
10:30, Mitch, I'm gonna pop in there and tell you.
So do we have any other topics, Fearless Leader, or have you fallen into a brownie coma yet?
Blaze, oh boy.
Oh boy.
Oh.
Hey, I already got all the sexy, weird, naughty Blaze.
Dang it, I'm
So
looking
if you guys are tuning in late, go back and watch the beginning and have a nice little laugh. I thought it'd be
This
fun
is
to have the
awesome.
Valentine's Day thing and with the candy and the roses and the candles. I thought it'd be fun. I did the little sexy Blaze voice, and y'all loved it, baby. Don't forget it. You want it, baby. You want it bad. So
It's the best.
oh no, I don't want. Oh, Mitch, you want it too, baby. I'll get you too, Mitch. Come here, Mitchy bitchy. I want to rub all over you, Mitch. Play my music, biatch. Oh, yeah. If you don't know, now you know. Oh, we're going to get all naked and have some fun tonight, baby. And you guys are going to roll around in jello and mud and get sexy all night long, baby. Ooh, yeah.
Oh God.
Oh, good Lord.
So that wasn't my surprise, but I love to make people laugh. That's what I love to do. When I started doing that E-Fed thing for like 2 years, and people were like, "You're funny." I mean, I never thought of it that way, and I'm like, now I got an audience. Now I have some pull. I want to spread positivity. Once I started to hit that 1,000 mark and stuff like that, and I started getting, the same 20 to 30 people every show, I was like, I really need to take advantage of having this platform. And that's when I went outside of my community, brought in the Wrestling Dazes and some of these content creators that were hundreds and thousands of subscribers. And I wanted to share best practice. I used to do interviews as a retail manager all the time. So I was like, why not use? And it's funny that now I'm working from home and everything. I'm using my marketing degree. I'm using my graphic design background. I'm using, the fact I used to be in a band. I used to be a DJ. I play drums.
Oh, wow.
I'm making a lot of music. A lot of the music that's on my E-Fed, I created. It's either my band, my brother's band, Drum Monkey. He has a character in my Fed. it's him playing the drums. It's
wow.
his old band's music is his entrance music. So it's like,
Oh
I
my
want to
God,
bring
that's
that to
cool.
the stage. And on that commercial, it said custom music. And it's my community, I don't even like saying my community, but I did. People told me I couldn't do it. They're like, you're not going to get that many people together. People are going to hate each other, blah, 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 blah. But I proved them fuckers wrong. People don't want to hear good stuff all the time. I'm like, you know what? And this is a message to everybody out there. And everyone's allowed to have your opinions, but you know what they say about opinions. Everyone has them. They're like assholes. Everyone has them. And they probably think. But, if I can make a message, be yourself. I have a little saying at the end of my shows, and I have it written down so I don't forget it. Keep in mind, you are exactly how you're supposed to be. Nobody's perfect. Everyone makes mistakes. It's how you react. It matters. Be yourself and treat others the way you want to be treated. Considerate, be considerate. You never know what someone's going through or what they're going through right now. We all have our demons. We all have our crosses to bear. So make your mark and leave your legacy. And no matter what ails you or what's bringing you down, hopefully I can take it away just for a little bit. And that's it. You know, it's like a message for people to don't be afraid to be yourself. You may think you got a raw deal because you have a disability or you're short or you don't think you're pretty or this and that. You were made for a reason. You've gone through everything for a reason. And I want to spread my positivity while I'm on this planet. Who knows how long we have here? So, and we celebrate people when they die, which is great. But I want to celebrate each other while we're alive. So the interviews is a big thing. So I brought in all these people and interviewed, found gamers, podcasters, people that are in the wrestling world or stuff like that. And I brought them in and interviewed them. I did it one year. Then I did another group of interviews last year. I have a playlist on my channel with all my interviews, and it's the same type of thing. I just want them to tell people how they got into YouTube, what made them successful, share best practices. So my community, your communities can learn from each other and all grow. So I'm bringing back my interview series. I thank Terry,
awesome.
Sarah, Denise for having me on the Queens of the Ring. Because I remember when Mitch came to me and he had an idea, and I was like, dude, if those ladies, they're great. I said, I've seen you on the show with Earl, doing the watch-alongs, and then following you guys on Twitter X and stuff, learn a little bit more about you. And I said, it's a great idea because getting the female perspective of wrestling does some of the same stuff that I did with that little rant. A lot of people don't think about that, So you guys are giving a different perspective. It's unique. And what I want to do is extend my arm to you guys, and I want to interview you three on the Get Blaze interview podcast sometime in the spring.
Oh, wow.
So we'll get together in that little chat.
Wait, whoa, what the hell?
No, I'm not interviewing again, Mitch.
Hey,
I interviewed Mitch twice already.
who said you to come in here?
It's about time. So I told him. I interviewed him once with Bird Gang, which is another Eagles content creator. And then I interviewed him again with the Hardcore Sports Network boys. So a lot of people that are in the chat right now, if you go into my Twitter, you'll see the handles of all three of these lovely ladies. They're definitely worth a follow. Check them out. Check them out on Earl's show. And I'm going to work with you ladies in that little group chat we have. We're going to find a day and a time where I can interview you three and give it back.
Oh,
I would love that. I would be honored.
Oh,
All right.
Not you, Mitch. Get out of here.
Stop being jealous, Nelly. Go away.
you can't
Slacker.
monopolize our time.
I want to interview you, Mitch. I want you to play with my man Keeney, baby.
Oh,
definitely
that
gotta shout out
picture
Mitch.
is amazing.
Mitch was the
Yes.
first person to bring me into the Hardcore Sports Network, and I wouldn't have never met you guys. And I already knew Earl. I knew Earl before Mitch. I was watching some of his stuff that he did, and got to give a big shout out to him because what he does brought you guys together and me now together, and it's a ripple effect. There's so much negativity and bullshit on YouTube, and people say, the wrestling world's toxic. E-feds are toxic. Podcasters are toxic. Wrestling, you're in the wrong communities if it's that toxic. There are good communities out there spreading positivity, showing that there are good in the world instead of just focusing on the negative. That's everywhere. If you want to go somewhere and hear someone say nothing but this sucks, that sucks, this sucks, it's out there everywhere. And they're entitled to that. But I wanted to be different, and I'm blessed to be able to do this show with you guys And I look forward to the interview. It's going to be fun.
Oh,
I am so excited.
I know. I can't.
That's a
wait.
good normal surprise, not the very other
I'm so
surprise.
excited. It's gonna be
That's it,
awesome.
man. This has been a blast.
Oh, the funny thing is when Mitch started talking about us having guests, the first thing I said was, "Can we please get Blaze Radio
Yes.
as a guest?" Because you always make me laugh in the chat.
I love jumping in people's chats and making them
Oh
smile.
my God,
I
you're
really do.
hilarious.
You make me laugh every single time that you come in that chat for Monday night.
Before I live stream, I did the same thing for 6 months. I studied YouTube, watched how people were in chats, watched how moderators worked and stuff. And I watched how I've seen people like yell at people in their chat and stuff. I'm like, you should be blessed that they're there.
Exactly.
You know, be happy that you have people. And I always say this too, whether you got
That's a
2
very
people
good
watching
saying.
you or 200, just enjoy it. Have fun.
Right.
Yeah.
You know? And
Absolutely.
if you have something you need, and that's what I want to do. I want to help other content creators out there. Not that I'm high and mighty or holier than thou, but I've realized, and I got some friends that have been in the chat and stuff, Monstar and a couple others that have been like, give more of yourself. Give more of yourself. Don't just be Blaze the commentator. You know, you got something to give back. And I'm very humble. It's really tough for me to do that. And I have my health problems and issues that I had to deal with and get over it too. And when I'm not healthy, I'm not around, you know, I just want to spread that positivity and love, man. And that's what I'm all about.
Absolutely. Well, unless we have any more topics or
No more surprises. I'm all out. I got some candy. I gotta eat, too.
Well,
He's got some candy to eat and some pussies to hang out with.
Hey, the naughtiness is running off. I love it.
he knows how to handle pussy. Is all.
Hey,
I
this is the most pussy I got in years tonight.
I did drink out of my naughty mug all night. So
Oh my God!
It's a good naughty though. Don't be afraid
It's
to go out there. I mean,
absolutely
this
the best
cancel
kind of naughty
culture
there
world.
is.
You got to be
But-
careful what you say and don't say, but have fun with whatever the fuck you're doing out there, people.
Exactly.
you gotta have fun.
This is probably my favorite episode that we have done so far.
So
'cause
much fun.
You are like,
Really?
I've been so looking forward to this, and we have got to have you on again. Just we got to have you again. The three
This
of
is
us.
Heck
just
yeah.
the beginning, baby.
Oh, just make sure you have that picture and the voice, please.
Pictures.
That was my idea for the picture.
I was gonna put Orange Cassidy on there with my head, but
Oh, you should have.
Oh,
all bitchy. I mean,
that would have been amazing.
All right, can you put the Miz on it next time?
Well, I mean, Earl's going to be in the chat. We already know that. So
I mean,
Yes.
I do have a different avatar I like to bring out when Mitch is here. I bust out the assless chaps for Mitch. He loves it.
Assless chaps.
Oh my!
Oh, that is amazing.
Oh Lord, with that, I think that thank you everyone who was in the chat, everyone that has watched this episode. I know that we've had a lot of new people that have been in the chat that you have brought to us, and we greatly appreciate it. We like you talked about. We try to keep everything as positive as possible on this show and in our chats, and like just keep spreading that positive message like you're doing, because
Appreciate
you are even if it's just like one person a week, as long as you reach someone with that message, you're
Be balanced. Too much negativity out there. I want to help balance it out.
absolutely.
Right.
But this has been an amazing show. I don't know if I've laughed this
I
much.
could sit and talk with you ladies for hours. Seriously.
Oh.
You guys
Oh,
are
Mitch has
amazing.
spurts from all the
Absolutely. But we definitely need to do it again. So, but I guess we're going to go ahead and wrap up this 4th episode of Queens of the Ring. Thank you so much to
Hey, if you're watching, watch the replay. Leave us a comment so we know you stopped by and all that. Share it out. Let people watch it, because more people need to hear this positivity.
Absolutely. But for our esteemed guest, Blaze Radio, the lovely Denise, the lovely Sarah, I am Cherry, and we are the Queens of the Ring, and we will see you next month. See ya.